Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today I thought we'd talk about what our wish list is for this year's fresh Battlefield release. I can go through the things I'm hoping for here, and you can throw yours into the comments. So make sure you get down there and say what you want to see added, and what you'd like to see changed or removed going from BF1 to whatever the next title is going to be. Obviously, we don't know what that title is yet, so we can't go into specifics such as weapons and such like, but we can cover the big things that affect how the game plays. So I won't be giving you these in any particular order, and I won't be going into extreme detail as I've got quite a few things on this list and I don't want this to be stupidly long. Oh, and also these are specifically my wishes, obviously. I know there will be other things that people want, but these are the ones that directly affect my personal enjoyment of the game and how I think it can be improved. So we'll open with reducing health affecting map clutter. By that I mean the seemingly ridiculous amount of barbed wire and fire on some BF1 maps. I'd be more than pleased to see this brought way down in the next Battlefield title. It's not fun or rewarding to be charging around on a kill streak in a high traffic area and suddenly be set on fire by a single ember that you happen to have run by, or getting stuck on a fence post because your shirt seemingly managed to find a way to connect with the barbed wire on it even though you're sure you cleared it properly. It's an unnecessary nuisance. So either reducing the amount or having flame damage be less potent and barbed wire less clingy would be great. Plus every melee weapon being able to break something like barbed wire, wooden fences, etc. would be great too. It would negate the issue a bit, and I don't want to have to pick a melee weapon purely because it can do that when others can't. Alright, moving on. Next, I want improving the mantling system. This is another thing that I classify as an unnecessary nuisance. If I press jump towards an object, then my soldier should jump it or mantle over it. It shouldn't continue to run into the window ledge whilst repeatedly hopping on the spot. It also shouldn't decide to lie down when I'm trying to go over something. Why do you lie down when you're trying to jump? Who coded that? I don't understand. But when you combine poor mantling with the aforementioned map clutter, it can become draining after a while to simply try to traverse the map. Okay, next up we have implementing a useful and intuitive tutorial system to help inexperienced players learn how to play the multiplayer aspect of the game. Because it's 2018 and I still have people comment asking me how to spot people. Seriously, this needs to be a day one learning experience. But it also goes way beyond that. Have tasks to complete that help people to flesh out their understanding of the game. Teach people to try to focus enemy vehicles as a group. Take note of planes and not let them dominate your team from the sky. Actually try to revive teammates if using a syringe, but not just running into enemy fire to do it. Move towards objectives, learn how to drive a boat, and so many other things. I'm not saying hold players' hands, but there's so much to learn when coming to a Battlefield game that you can't expect your average gamer to just pick it up naturally. So a tutorial with medals to unlock, dog tags, perhaps weapon skins, etc., maybe even timed leaderboards for completion of certain things, this would all give people a reason to participate in the tutorials, learn how to play the game more effectively, and create a better experience for all, rather than having me sit here in front of my screen screaming at my stupid blueberry teammate for not recognizing that he's literally sitting next to a spotted enemy. I don't want to do this stuff anymore, okay? Right, let's not get too heated. We need to remain calm because the next thing on the list can also be pretty aggravating. It's an alteration to the bayonet charge if it'll be in the next game. There may not be, but if there is a charge mechanic, then the distance the animation kicks in needs to be reduced. It currently starts so early that you'd easily be able to put 1, 2, maybe even 3 more bullets into them, but instead they get invincibility frames as the animation starts several meters ahead of you, and the dude making the most ridiculous bayonet charge attempt can actually get the better of you when they really shouldn't. Also, you should have to have a bit more of a run up, because at the minute people do the bayonet charge from a nearly standing start, which is super annoying. I don't mind some kind of charge being in the game, but I'd like to see it be balanced better than it is currently in BF1. Okay, next I'm going for better Conquest map construction, because although I like a fair few of the Conquest maps, some I just don't enjoy playing. The linear ones that allow for ridiculous spawn traps and potentially super boring gameplay, I don't understand them at all, and I'd love for them to not make it into the next Battlefield game. The somewhat circular ones are great, but having a map that's essentially a straight line or a Conquest map with just 3 flags, you're just asking for one team to spawn trap the other. In something like COD, I don't have too much of an issue with it, but in Battlefield where you can literally have 30 plus people watching a spawn, no thank you. Oh, and also also super open maps with barely any cover, I'll pass on those as well. Moving on again, we have more customization. Please, DICE, put more customization into the next Battlefield title. I understand why it's more limited in a World War I shooter, as there are less options to choose from. I'll give you that, but it's not that much fun making a build where the things you can alter are a sight on your weapon, having a bayonet on or off, and which 2 gadgets you want to carry. More customization would keep things varied and interesting for the long term. It allows people to feel more like individuals and tailor their build in a way that suits their playstyle. It also means that weapon variants needn't be a thing, and instead time can be put into designing individual weapons that people can then put attachments onto. Going back to Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and having more ways to customize your loadout than in a current Battlefield title really isn't a great look. My next wish is for a more rewarding progression system. It was a long time ago now, but I seem to remember that early on in the game, I was unlocking weapons pretty damn quickly. Then there was a long grind to reach level 10 for each class and unlock the last weapon, and then nothing. This really doesn't give too much incentive to rank up or play in general beyond just enjoying the game. And I do enjoy the game, and obviously many others do too, but a rewarding progression system adds another fat layer of enjoyment on top. This feeds into my previous point about customization. If using a weapon now nets you more attachments rather than just service stars, suddenly everyone is a lot more happy about just playing the game. There's an added reason to grind. It also means there aren't super long periods without receiving any meaningful reward. In addition, it'll help to make the gap between DLC or live updates feel a lot less boring, because there's still stuff to do and still stuff to unlock. The requirements for unlocks can also be hard if you want them to be, but hard doesn't mean stupid. Some of the specific ones we've seen in BF1 are too much in my opinion, like the killing swimming enemies one, or the tripwire one when they only did like 75 damage, or using certain things on certain maps and whatever else, things like that. Less specific, more difficult, but with easy ones thrown in for variation. That would be great. Next up, I'm going for improve the matchmaking. I'm tired of how the skill-based matchmaking works. I'm tired of failing to find games. I'm tired of playing people with over 100, 200, 300 or whatever 100 ping. I'm tired of being placed into lobbies that have purely foreign names in them. How is that supposed to give me a good connection? I'm tired of the server browser literally, and I mean literally, offering me either empty lobbies or lobbies with a handful of people in them. Why can't I see the lobbies with 50 plus people in them? I know they exist because the quick search seems to give them to me. Is this then linked to the skill-based matchmaking as well? I'd love for this to be fixed, especially as, towards the end of the game's life cycle, such as we're experiencing with BF1 now, there are less people playing the game. So if it's still searching based on skill or whatever else, then some players are even more likely to be placed in a lobby across the world. I'll also add to this to improve just the basics of joining friends and searching for games with friends. This shouldn't be a struggle in 2018, and yet I still fail to join friends all the time, and it's stupidly frustrating. I want to love your game, let me love your game please DICE. I want to love it, let me love it. Next up, we have try to find a way to not split the player base. This kind of feeds into my previous point about the matchmaking and having less people to play. The season pass and separate DLC splits the player base up into chunks. This causes very obvious problems, so a different model of some kind to fix this would be awesome. I don't know what that would be, and obviously EA, DICE, whoever will decide upon something that makes a ton of money because they are businesses after all, and I understand and accept that, but keeping the player base more whole would have so many benefits. A big one being that you'd have less disused maps. Putting all that effort into a DLC map and then having barely anyone on it seems like a huge waste of potential. Next one up is an in-game issue. Please fix clipping problems. If I'm clearly looking over a ledge, then my bullet shouldn't fire straight into said ledge. It should fly into the enemy's head, because I obviously have perfect aim. All jokes aside, if it doesn't look like I'm going to shoot the thing I'm hiding behind, then I shouldn't shoot the thing I'm hiding behind. Firing my rocket gun directly into the structure that it's resting on doesn't make any sense. Please don't do that, it's really annoying. I'm now going to move on to something that I don't think is very likely, but I'd love to see it, and that is rank play of some kind. The Incursions game mode that is apparently coming to BF1 is a great example. Some sort of competitive mode like that, with ranks, leaderboards, medals, skins, and all that good stuff would be awesome. It's another thing that would keep people playing. It literally had people playing Halo for years, purely because they wanted to achieve that rank 50. Black Ops 2 had league play years ago, and it was awesome. Having a ranked playlist with something that displays what a player has achieved in it would be a whole new point of interest. The idea that someone can look at your profile and see your rank, or have it be displayed when you kill someone, kind of like the dog tag system, I'd love that. It's a long shot, but I'd love it, and it might even help to kick off MLG again for Battlefield, you never know. And finally, please keep loot boxes cosmetic only. Please, Don't ruin this fantastic series with loot boxes. Thank you. And that is my wish list for Battlefield 2018. It's pretty long and varied, but the more of these wishes that come true, the better I think the game will be. So what are your wishes? Remember to get into the comment section to share them and see who agrees with you, and also sharing what you'd like to see is the only way that DICE can really find out what the community wants. So politely putting it into videos such as this, into forums, tweets, etc. is a great way to try to affect the game in a positive manner. Now we need to quickly shoot over to the Board of Awesome, show our respect to the fantastic people who support the channel on Patreon. They do so purely because they want to help to keep the channel going, and they truly are. So thank you to everyone on here. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, then the link to the Patreon page will be in the description below and in my pinned comment, where you can support the channel from as little as $1 a month if you so wish, and it will be appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos, and feel free to like, favorite, and subscribe. I am GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.